try and outdo ourselves every single week, which particularly in the second season as well, we've tried to take it up a gear and try and push ourselves even further. So who knows where we'll be in a couple of weeks' time.
What time does it come out? It's 6 o'clock on Friday morning.
Yeah.
So we're often working on it at like 12 o'clock Thursday night.
Yeah.
We have to make these guys stay up. We're like, oh, just give us an hour or two and we'll have it.
And it starts as well, of course, this is an important part of the process that we didn't talk about in that video, but we have a weekly meeting with the One Nation team as well. So I'm a former lawyer. I understood politics from a very theoretical perspective, and I understood it on that sense. So I understood the very basics of it, but then talking to the One Nation team every week, James, and the whole team, and Pauline as well, we jump on a few calls, I got to learn, the practical side of politics is hilarious. And it's dirty and it's filthy, and we can uncover so much of how policies are made. And what are these
carbohydrates going in? I'll try one.
We're hearing some of the things
Another one,
said
thank
behind
you.
closed doors, and then putting them just nice little gentle tickles in the cartoon, or things that they might watch and go, oh no, I'm in trouble. Someone knows. And that's what we wanted. It's stuff for them, and it's also it's stuff for everyone else. But I couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. We have a weekly meeting that sometimes goes for 2.5, 3 hours, which is outrageous.
The one thing you would pick up in that is that Mark is responsible for every single voice that is in the cartoon.
Nearly everyone.
How many? Sebastian, how many have you done? 2?
I do just the deep ones.
Anyone that sounds like a man, Seb does, and I do.
And that was one of the conditions I had with Pauline. I said, Pauline, if we're going to do this, you have to voice your own character. And you had no problems in that. And we've got some footage. Pauline does this wherever we go. Like, as you can appreciate, we're on the road a lot, and it doesn't matter whether we're in Tassie or in Canberra. Sometimes if you listen closely to Pauline's character, you will sometimes hear the bells of Parliament in the background. They're very, very loud. But it's like, oh, I've got to stop, I've got to run down to the chamber. So it's sometimes midway through. Bob, what do you think of your voiceover? Because Bob is done by Mark.
I think it's
Perfectly modulated voice, deep and coherent. You made me sound like an idiot.
You've got a lovely sense of humour, Bob. And we love that.
We do.
I'm in politics, I need it.
I've got to say, voice acting is a lot harder than it looks. It's a very strange little, I don't want to call it an art, it's a craft or whatever, but Pauline does such a good job, and every single week we do these, rain, hail or shine. So there was a week where you were stung by bees.
Yes, that's right.
There was a week where you had COVID-19, the most deadly virus ever. It's mental. So we do all it, rain, hail, or shine, no matter what. And I've got to say, as a person who was going into a profession as a voice actor, I'm incredibly impressed every single week because it's a lot harder and it's very confronting. Like it's a crazy thing. But how are you finding the process? I never ask you that. We're on the phone once a week. I never ask once a week.
I asked my opinion about something. It's good to work with you guys, actually. Quite a number of times, I've got to do the line over and over and over because they want to make sure they get it right. And because they know what the cartoon's about. I don't. So they have to explain basically what the scene's about, how I should deliver this line.
The only reason we don't tell her, by the way, is because otherwise we get halfway through the voiceover and she'd go, no, we're not doing that this week. No. So it's better to put it out and ask for apology.
It happened once.
We rather give an apology.
Well, he was like, we are not doing that! No! And then I was like, oh God, texting James on a call, we're having a 3-way phone call. And we eventually really got the episode over the line. But
Yeah.
there's been a bit of pushback from Pauline at times, but all of them have been on point.
I believe, you know, I don't mind being funny and getting a message across. I don't want it to be crass, and I don't want it to be, you know, to put ourselves in the gutter like a lot of these other people. If you can get your message, it can be funny, by all means, but I think there's got to be a bit of decorum there.
And James,
Class.
Well, we let you down this week, didn't we? Last
oops. That comes through. You know, it's but sometimes we have those conversations once a week and those discovery calls. And one thing was housing affordability was one. We were like, we have got to talk about this, and no one else was talking about this. Was the amount of tax you have to pay on a house. I think it was $750,000 property would cost you north of $1 million just because of tax. And then you explained to me as well, it's a circular system where the banks are making money. Everyone's getting a clip on one of our best industries, which is housing. One of our best ones here in Australia. So, wow, we have to do something on that.
Actually, our biggest episode was on excise tax. And it was early in the piece. I don't think the majority of people realise how much tax you pay on alcohol.
Yeah.
That was a big one, wasn't it? We got over 1 million views between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I think TikTok as well. But yeah, over 1 million views. And people were furious. They were actually writing to the office going, surely this isn't right. Even the ABC's fact check had to agree, yeah, it's right. In fact, I don't think we've ever been, oh yes, we got one fact check wrong, didn't we?
Yeah, ScoMo's,
lifetime pension.
which I believe we may be touching on next week.
Oh, yeah.
This is the thing, that the episode that's coming out Friday next week, we're still writing. Because we've only come up here, it's taking a little longer. So we're still trying to work it out, but it may reference that very mistake that we got, that ScoMo actually won't get his political pension. And I feel like that might give him a heart attack. When he realizes, what is the point of being Prime Minister then? Which we're not.
What I've said to the boys, what I'd like, it's okay. It's all right having a go at the other one about their policies and having a go at the coalition or having a go at the Labor Party. But what I'm trying to say to them also is that I've got to have answers. And people want to know, okay, you can criticise all the time, but what are you going to do about it? Now, would you like that in the cartoons? Would you like to see what the coronation Saturday is and how we deal with these things like the housing, as we've said about immigration? You know, I complain about this, but I think you've also got to give the people answers to what you would do about it. Like, I'm supposed to be a teacher in the classroom. Well, this is what I'm teaching, this is what I'm suggesting. So I think there has to be.
Oh, we'd love to, but it's when they keep giving us material. That's the problem. Can you next time you're on the floor of Parliament go, guys, chill out for a week. We want to talk about our policies. Oh, she's going to be there very soon. Very soon. She has to, yeah.
How many of you have seen Lydia's stickers we created? How many bought the stickers? How good? That's great. How many of you have bought the bottle of rum, by the way? All right, for those without your hands up, because you all bought tickets today, you get them on the way out.
It's good rum. It's a good rum as well.
Yeah. Look, we obviously none of this comes freely. We don't do it through. Obviously, Pauline's got a parliamentary budget there, but it's not for this purpose. So we have to raise the money in order to do it. And every episode costs us 10 grand. So it's a fair bit of money, but we think it's worth it because we're educating people. The only way we can do it is coming up with the ways that we have to market and fundraise. So last year we did the gin. Who got the gin last year? Yeah, plenty of people got the gin. This year we've done 2 different batches of rum. So we've done a director's batch, and so anyone who's bought the director's batch actually gets their names in the credit at the end. So there's in one episode you get your name in the credits, and the bottle comes hand signed by Pauline. She loves it when I give her stickers for those bottles, don't you? children, I'll say, listen, this Sunday, you know how you thought you had it off? I need another 1,000 labels signed. And on top of that, I need your Anzac Day card signed too. And if you're a member of the party, sign these birthday cards for me too. So that's the only way we do raise the money. The stickers of Lydia as well, they're obviously going towards the cartoon series. So we want to try and put out 50 episodes this year, obviously one a week. So it's quite a bit of money.
And I remember that was the stipulation, because we finished season 1. We finished it, put a little bow on it at the end of the election, at the end of the campaign. That was the end of it. And I think we had maybe 4 or 5 months. So we still kept in touch, but it was done. But then Pauline and yourself gave us a call and said that you kept it.
I was called out, and James was, but I was called out constantly, and people on the planes turn around and looking at me behind their seats and saying, when are you bringing back the cartoons? We want the cartoons back. So anyway, we decided, we'll try this fundraiser, and that's how we ended up getting the cartoons back on. So I'm glad you appreciate it, I'm glad you're enjoying them, and I hope that you're taking away a very important message out of each cartoon to understand what is happening in our country. It's so important to me. We're the only political party that's ever done anything like this and putting cartoons out to try and educate. And like I said earlier, it's really trying to educate the younger generation to take an interest in politics. And if anything I can leave, a legacy in politics is to educate people along the way, to take an interest in politics, whichever way we possibly can, because it's about your future. And you can't just go willy-nilly and just switch off yourself. They're all the same. We're not all the same. And some of us are very passionate about the future of this country and our fellow Australians and what's happening. And that's why this is my way of getting my message across to the people. And whether you acknowledge it or enjoy it or whatever way, it's important that you understand what the hell is happening. I am absolutely frustrated with our politicians, which way the country is going. I'm in fear for the future, and I just feel that these politicians are just for the short term, that they're there till the next election. I don't see them with the long-term vision of what needs to happen in the future, and that's a crying shame. I see a lot of them are just brain dead. I don't think they actually understand and research what is going on. They belong to a political party, the bells ring, they just walk in there, they sit down with whatever side their party's on, and that's the way they vote. And they won't stand up and be that independent, strong independent representative of their constituency, because at the end of the day, it's about a job to them.
Pauline's in the Senate and Bob's in the lower house. Bob, what's your reflection of this government? And past as well. You've been there for how many years have you been in the lower house now?
The excellent historian Ross Fitzgerald, he said that the two greatest speakers of Australian parliamentary history were Tom Aikens, the independent member for North Queensland, and Robert Menzies. But Aikens wins because he always injected humour, which Menzies sometimes did, but very rarely. But I remember my first meeting, and this is on the issue of humour, I suppose, with Tom Aikens. He's 6'4". He put his arm around me and said, "Now, young fellow," he said, "you know, we're both Cloncurry boys, so I'm going to have to look after you. Now, if you want a future in politics, you must be able to take a small molehill of truth and create from it a vast edifice of illusion." That's what. If you haven't got a sense of humour, in a rather interesting discussion I had with the speaker, I said, "I've got seniority and I was sitting on the front bench." And he ignored me. So after I said it 3 times, I realised I was going to continue to be ignored. And I said, if I agreed to come, monumental stupidity, I said, if I agreed to go to question time, and he said, it could be a matter for consideration, not favourable consideration. So I was sitting on the front bench there. And I looked over and I said, what is Susan Lee's doing, sitting beside Dutton? She's the deputy leader. I nearly nearly died laughing. It was to move legislation that we ban all live animal trade, which sent the third greatest export industry in Australia straight through the floor. And then I said, well, hold on, and Michael Tormax there, a bit naughty quoting him, I suppose, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I said, the leader of the Country Party, raving greenie free marketeer. And he said, yes and yes. And then I said, what in hell's name is Angus Taylor doing there? He is the alternative treasurer. Well, you've got to give it to Dutton, he's got a sense of humour. Because this bloke was told, he said, you will put in emergency fuel stocks now, because we discovered we're going to get 2 weeks supply of petrol in Australia. So he puts the emergency fuel stocks in Texas, which is not Texas in Queensland, it's Texas in the United States. And he's the alternative treasurer. So don't tell me they've got a sense of humour. They have.
Actually, that's good material, actually.
I just want to say though that we come from Melbourne, where it's overwhelmingly left wing. It's almost frustratingly left wing.
Listen, I'm not a Catholic priest. You don't have to confess your sins.
My partner, both of our partners work in education, where we're seeing it. It's basically brainwashing that's going on, and particularly in Melbourne, in the big city. It's really upsetting. So I think one of the things that I love seeing in some of the comments sometimes is like, we're sitting down and watching this as a family every Friday morning. The kids are getting involved and they're learning stuff. So from my perspective, I would love to teach more about the separation of powers. I'd love for people to understand that. I'd love for people to like when we did the electoral system on with Burgess, that was amazing. Like I love being because most people go to the ballot box and they have no idea what they're doing. They think they're voting for a prime minister. They have no idea. So I love teaching those big concepts. I love putting an alternative policy that's out there, because a lot of these kids just have no idea what they're being told, and they're not taught critical thinking. So that's sometimes we are deliberately antagonistic with the cartoon, but it's to inspire conversation so that people can understand that you've got to be a critical thinker. And if we had more of that in this country, I think we'd be in a hell of a lot better place. So we're tackling some big issues now. One of Pauline's ideas as well is that we need to tackle this Aboriginality. And what about identifying as Aboriginal? We want to hit trans in a way that's going to be fun as well. Like that's going to be any fun. So that's what we've got a lot of big things to talk about. I know, Bob, you're pushing pretty heavily for everyone to have a rifle. So we're going to do that. We're going to give every man, woman, and child a gun.
Well, strangely enough, there's 4 of us up here that are all licensed too. We're licensed firearms owners.
Yeah,
you are licensed, Bob, aren't you?
I did an interview on crocodiles and I said, what's your view on crocodiles?
Can we write that one down too? That's another good one. The material we're getting here is great.
And like I said before, though, we were saying that these people continue to give us incredible content every single week. They just keep feeding us. But I know we definitely want to tackle some big issues, because I think the country deeply needs it. And other than getting rammed down your throat, we think satire and comedy is a great way to do it. And we're really proud to be a part of it. And we couldn't be more chuffed that people like yourselves support it. That's really unheard of. And like I said, this is coming from a couple of guys that are literally making it in the basement of their house. It really means the world to us to know that people are behind us and backing us and supporting us. And we just couldn't be proud of making this sort of content with a political party that genuinely stands up for what they believe in. And you just don't see that much in modern day politics.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Serious correspondence. It's, I think one of the most dreadful things I've ever seen in 50 years in Parliament was putting a person in jail who was totally innocent for 2 years of her life. Good on you for being a great hero, and you suffered for your beliefs.
What about that?